What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys, and actually quite a bit of news to get through today. Just before we get into that, please do and go and visit our brand new website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, where you get daily blog posts and Tottenham updates going up there every so often, as well as our brand new merch as well. So do go check that out, and let's get into the Tottenham update. As Spurs have appointed a brand new technical director, finally. He goes by the name of Johan Lange. We did actually bring you an update a couple of months ago saying Johan Lange was at the Hotspur Way. We didn't know the reason for it, but I think now it's pretty clear what the reason was. The official announcement says Spurs have announced Aston Villa's Johan Lange as technical director with effect from the 1st of November. We are delighted to announce that Johan Lange has been appointed. Lange will have responsibility for recruitment, analytics and talent identification across our senior and academy teams, as Paul O'Keefe says that Fabio Paratici will remain as a consultant for Tottenham Hotspur despite the appointment of Lange. We are going to do a more in-depth video about Johan Lange that will be out later today, but on the face of things, what do you think about the appointment?
Yeah, it seems to be one that's been in the works for a while, considering we heard, as you said, a few months ago that they've already been in discussions. I think at Aston Villa, they've obviously improved a lot over the last couple of years, and I'm looking at their squad now, and the recruitment that has gone on within Aston Villa has been fairly impressive. So if that's anything to go by, hopefully he can bring that kind of side of things to Spurs. And I think, look, they've clearly taken a long decision to bring him in. So it seems as though they've thought this through, and he seems like a good candidate. So I'm pretty happy with it. But I do wonder why he did leave Villa, because obviously Monchi got brought in in the summer. So I don't know whether it was an upgrade or maybe they heard Lange was leaving, so that's why they brought him in. So it'd be interesting to know the reasons for that.
I read somewhere, I don't know how true it is, but I did read somewhere that there was some sort of disagreement between him and Unai Emery. So I don't know if that's anything to do with it. Don't know how true that is, but that's a report I read. So that could be something to do with it. But Johan Lange is the new Spurs technical director. What's your opinion on Fabio Paratici staying on?
I'm happy about it just because I think he's been doing a really good job, and if he's able to work with Lange, then I'm all for it. Obviously, I really don't want it to come to a situation where it's an uncomfortable situation, like people aren't really happy with him, maybe he's stepping on too many people's toes, maybe he's getting involved in things he shouldn't be getting involved with. But as long as it's working for everyone, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, me as well. Let's talk about what the January focus is in the transfer window, as Tom Allnut says that Tottenham Hotspur will focus on shifting fringe players in January before making significant additions. Hugo Lloris, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Brian Hill are among those who could depart, although Brian Hill may be needed after the injuries to Solomon and Ivan Perisic.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense that because there's a lot of players that we tried to get rid of in the summer that are still around, and that's definitely not a situation we want to continue. But we also should definitely focus on the fact that our squad is pretty threadbare at the moment. There's definitely certain situations, centre back, left back. They're
basically everywhere.
Yeah, there are definitely situations in the squad which need addressing. So I hope we don't just completely neglect that and pull that by the wayside, because we might be in, I don't know what position we're going to be in January, but maybe we're in a good position to really push on. Maybe not like a title, but top four, to cement that top four position as well. You don't want it to come to a situation where we've neglected that side of things come January, and then all of a sudden later in the season we've got a few injuries and we're lacking in certain situations, and all of a sudden our good work can be undermined by that. So as much as I agree these players do need offloading, hopefully we also bring a couple in.
Yeah, in terms of specifically Pierre, like he's obviously been a use for us this season already, especially with Bissouma getting the red card. He's going to be used more and walking the tightrope with another suspension if he does get another yellow card. So in my opinion, I think Højbjerg is probably a good character to keep around the place, to be honest. And I think if he was to go, we definitely need to bring in a replacement for him. We can't just let him go without bringing in another person.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on Bentancur as well, because if Bentancur is able to be an option in January and if he's getting back to his best, then there's less of a need to kind of get a replacement, because he'll just be that natural replacement. But I agree, if you don't want to be relying on Bentancur, you don't want to be putting too much pressure on him after such a serious injury. And Højbjerg has done well being a calming presence off the bench. So 100% agree. If we were to let him go, someone has to be brought in, I think.
Another player who could be out the exit door as early as January is Eric Dier, as Tom Allnut says that Sporting Lisbon have discussed bringing Eric Dier back to the club when his Tottenham contract expires in the summer, although Sporting could even make an offer for a transfer at a reduced fee in January. We know that Eric Dier is just not getting a look in at the moment. He's like sometimes not even making the squads, not even making the bench, to be honest. He has made the bench a couple of times, but I think a move to Lisbon probably in January would be welcomed by all parties.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know why Lisbon would be so desperate to bring him in. They're willing to pay a fee, but if they are, definitely good for us. If we can get any sort of money for him, no one was interested in the summer, so if we can get any sort of money for him come January, hopefully he realises that the game is up for him, and maybe a move to Lisbon will be best for him. But at the moment, he seems happy. Not happy, but he rejected a lot of moves in the summer, didn't he? So he seems to wanting to wait out his contract and wait till he basically can run it down and get the choice of clubs. So whether this gets resolved in January, I think is definitely remains to be seen kind of situation.
Well, let's hope it gets resolved sooner rather than later, because I just don't like the idea of like a player just hanging around there knowing he's not going to be playing. I think it can only bring bad situations, to be honest, and I think that goes for Hugo Lloris as well. Let's talk about potential incomings. Spurs, Photosport, a publication in Turkey, say that Tottenham plan to send scouts to watch Galatasaray versus Bayern Munich later this month in the upcoming Champions League group stage game. The club are particularly keen on signing Sacha Boey and Victor Nelsson. So we know about Victor Nelsson because we were linked with him over the summer, a centre-back that matches up quite well on the data. Sacha Boey is a player that I've never heard of, but I'm looking into him now. He's got a 17 million euro market value. He predominantly plays at right back, but can play at left back as well. 23 years of age and a French national, playing for Galatasaray at the moment with his contract running until 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him. I've never seen him play. All I know is that Galatasaray themselves have had a very good start to the season, and maybe he's been a big part of that, and maybe he's been a player who's really stepped up this season and showing that he's a bit of a breakout season for him. So I haven't seen him play. I did watch Galatasaray when they played Man United, and is he the right back, is he?
Yeah.
He did. I remember he was doing a few skills on the right, so he seems to be a tricky customer, and obviously they did win the game 3-2. And they're having a very good time of it so far in the Turkish league, so maybe that's one to look out for.
Do we need a right back though?
Probably not, but maybe
unless Emerson,
maybe Emerson's future's up in the air. We'll have to wait and see.
He did score in the Champions League this season against Copenhagen in the 2-2 draw. Which, look, maybe it is something to watch out for. He started his career at Rennes, then moved to Dijon, and then got a move to Galatasaray off the back of that, and has currently played 68 games for Galatasaray, scoring 3 goals, making 4 assists in the meantime as well. So that is the situation regarding potential incomings. Let's talk about Tottenham internationals during this international break. Spurs have 13 players that have been called on by their country. James Maddison for England, Heung-min Son for South Korea, Ben Davies for Wales, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg for Denmark, Richarlison for Brazil, Lo Celso and Romero for Argentina, Kulusevski for Sweden, Vicario and Destiny Udogie for Italy, and that is Destiny's first international call-up, I believe. Yves Bissouma for Mali, Pape Matar for Senegal, and Mickey van der Ven gets called up for the Netherlands once again. I don't believe he made his debut last international break, did he? He just kept on the bench, so maybe Mickey van der Ven will be making his debut once again as well.
And amazing news for Destiny, who was threatening to maybe get called up last time. He only got called up for the under-21s, but really getting reward for his great start to the season with a senior call-up, and hopefully it'll be the first of many for him. And hopefully Van der Ven as well can finally make his debut. And there's even talk of Vicario displacing Donnarumma at the moment, because Donnarumma is not having a great time of it in the French league, and as well his performances for Italy of late have much to be desired. So hopefully maybe Vicario can make a claim to be Italy's #1. That'll be interesting.
Well, when Buffon was talking about Vicario being Italy's best goalkeeper, or the best goalkeeper with the best prospects, everyone kind of laughed at him because nobody really knew, like, why are you talking about this goalkeeper from Empoli that no one really knows about? Spurs are just like scraping the barrel, trying to get a bargain bucket signing. But after we've seen him now a significant amount of time, 8 games, like, it kind of makes Buffon's words ring a bit more true, doesn't it?
Potentially. Obviously, it's still a fairly small sample size, but he's obviously adapted extremely well to the Premier League so far. If you look at the difference in like his start to life in the Premier League and Onana, it's just night and day, and they both come from Serie A. Both were tipped as being one of the best keepers in Serie A last season, but Vicario has been the one who's adapted a lot quicker and seems a lot more suited to the Premier League than Onana does right now. And I think that goes to show that it's not easy to start your life in the Premier League as well as Vicario has. So I think it goes to a lot show his mentality, his quality, and hopefully he continues.
Absolutely. Now let's go on and talk about those under 21s once again. Tottenham under 21s continued their perfect start to the season, now with 9 wins out of 9 games in all competitions, thanks to a stoppage time goal penalty from Jude Sunsop-Bell last night as they beat Bristol City 2-1 in the Premier League Cup. Literally 96th minute winner. That mentality coming through even for the under 21s. So Bristol went 1-0 up in the 13th minute. Spurs equaled it just before half time on the half an hour mark from a player called Maxwell McKnight, 19-year-old, who hasn't really been playing for the under 21s. And Jude Sunsop-Bell sticks away that penalty on the 96th minute. And now, I mean, not now because this was the case before this game, but Spurs are top of the league in the Premier League. Spurs are top of the league in the PL2, and Spurs are top of the league in the under 18s as well. So things are going well.
They're clearly from top to bottom. They've got their act together, it seems, on the pitch. But fantastic news again for the under 21s, and Sunsop-Bell carrying on his great form. And I saw the penalty, he put it straight down the middle under pressure as well, last kick of the game. And that mentality seeping through from the first team. All these late goals are coming through, and they're coming from the under 21s as well. So fantastic stuff, and long may it continue. And as you say, the under 18s also going really strong. I know they beat Norwich, I think 7-2 on the weekend. I think Mikey Moore got a hat-trick.
Yeah.
So they're going really, really strongly, and it's a really exciting time at the moment, not just from the first team, but seeing how the youth are developing as well.
Absolutely. And last but not least, the UK and Ireland's bid to host Euro 2028 ran unopposed after Turkey withdrew its focus to do a joint bid with Italy for Euro 2032. So that has been confirmed now. The UK will be hosting Euro 2028. And the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has been listed as one of the host stadiums alongside Wembley, the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, the Etihad in Manchester, the new Everton Stadium, St James's Park, Villa Park, Hampden Park, the Aviva Stadium, and Casement Park in Belfast. So I'm looking forward to Euro 2028 now. Go down to Tottenham and watch some Euro 2028 games. That's going to be a good summer. Imagine
the scenes of like England beating Germany at the Tottenham Stadium, like there was at Wembley in Euro 2021. That would be absolutely scenes, and I'm proud of of Spurs to be getting a stadium that is, you know, one of the flagship stadiums, and it deserves to be because it's definitely one of the best stadiums in England. And you know, you've got other stadiums there like, you know, the Emirates and Old Trafford, and they're not being picked, but the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is.
Yeah, regarding Old Trafford, they said the reason why that stadium wasn't being picked is because they're planning renovation works, and potentially it could fall over that summer, so they couldn't confirm or deny whether to use that stadium or not, so they just left it out. But it's interesting, like the Emirates hasn't been chosen. The Emirates is a fairly new stadium as well, but in terms of like the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it'll be interesting to see how late in the tournament it's used, because it clearly is the best stadium in the country, but they are probably going to leave Wembley for the final, so
could be a semi-final.
Yeah, I think it should be, to be honest. And to be honest, it should be a final stadium. That's how good the stadium actually is.
100%. So I can't wait for Euro 2028, and I hopefully we'll get to a few games at the Tottenham Stadium to watch. That'll be amazing if we could do that.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That is your Tottenham update for today. Please go and check out for our video an in-depth dive on Johan Lange, our new technical director, and also go and check out our brand new website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, where you get daily Tottenham blog posts. But thank you everyone for watching us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.